Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flizanes.
Hello and welcome to the Fit to Love podcast show. I'm JJ Flizanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's show. Today, I'm going to share with you an interview that I actually did on Facebook Live with Heather Havenwood. She hooked up something called Zoom, and we did it on Facebook, and it appeared on my personal page and my fan page. And then when she sent me the link to the files, they actually gave me an audio-only file, which was super cool. So I thought for those of you that aren't connected with me on Facebook, there were a lot of benefits to this conversation. And while we are talking about the event, we're talking about what you will get out of the event, but what you'll get out of the concept. So for instance, one of the things that I think has been a misconception is that people think releasing what weighs you down is about weight. And there are actually a lot of people coming to the event who have no weight to lose, or if they want to lose a few pounds, that's it. But we're talking about the emotional burdens and how that turns physical into other pain, disease, limiting beliefs, unhappy relationships, unfulfilled desires, displaced emotions. And I think you're going to get some insight in a different way, because I know for me, I said some things on this Facebook Live that we did, which was a little bit longer than a normal show for me. So I'll just warn you ahead of time. But I did say a lot of new things, and I thought, well, it's valuable for you to have reflection and maybe to be able to identify some of the other patterns and habits that maybe you aren't aware of that could be stopping you from, again, whatever it is you desire. If you're finding, whether it be work or money or purpose or relationships or dating or marriage or health, and what gets in the way of that. So because we did a Facebook Live, because it was on Zoom, because I was not hooked up to this beautiful, gorgeous, great mic that I have, and I did it through the computer speaker, I'm not as clear, although it's definitely fine. I mean, it sounds fine. I wouldn't have published this today if it wasn't. But there are a few points where you can probably hear her click her keyboard, or we talk over each other a little bit, or maybe you hear me bump up against the mic or something. It happens just a few times, but I just want to put that out there because, you know, I'm an audio snob when it comes to quality of sound. And had I known the cool feature of Zoom, I probably would have hooked up my mic here. And I think maybe I tried and it was fuzzy. So I also want to make one more reminder that it is a few days, 2 days. December 14th is the last day for the 2-pay option if you are interested in coming to the event. Remember that there's also a virtual ticket option, and the price on that's $197. It's going to stay that way until the event happens. Once the event happens, I'm going to close that. Then the whole event will become basically like a product, and the price is going to go up a little bit. So if you want the virtual ticket, I would get it now, because the price is going to go up, because I know what's going to happen at the event. The value is going to be off the chart, and I know I'm going to think it's worth more than $197. And I know it's worth more than $197. I'm just trying to help people who live all over the world. Thank you, those of you that have been reaching out to me from Australia and the UK who are interested in the event but can't make it here because you live so far away. That's fine. But get your ticket now. And the 2-pay option for the live event is going to be done in 2 days. So connect with me on Facebook or some kind of social media for the specials and the deals. You can get 15% off. When you listen to this show, there were points in which I edited out because Heather was promoting it from her website, which is totally fine. But you guys are connected to me directly, and so you're able to get 15% off just my regular price. So go to releasingwhatweighsyoudown.com and enter the code 15OFF in capital letters. So 15OFF, and you'll get 15% off. What else? If you find that you'd rather watch this, I mean, it's just talking heads, but if you want to see Heather and you want to see myself, you can go to my YouTube page, which is jjflizanes.tv, and you can watch the Facebook Live there. This is a little shorter, today's show that I'm sharing with you, because I did cut out all of the promo to go to Heather's site to catch the deal. So, but, you know, feel free if you want to come check it out and see what it looks like, and maybe you want to have it on in the background. You can go to youtube.com/JJFlizanes or jjflizanes.tv to see that video. I also, on YouTube, have a bunch of videos from Lisa Thomas and from Michael Neely and from Jeannie Peters, and they're talking about what they're going to do at the event. So if you're not connected with me on some kind of social media with a video, please come find me, whether it be Facebook or where else do I post it? Facebook, YouTube. So come find me, or on LinkedIn, but honestly, I prefer Facebook. Oh, or Instagram. So come find me on Instagram, Facebook, or follow me on, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get those notices. So I hope everyone is doing well as we near the holiday season. Keep in mind, this is a time where it can get crazy and trigger you on many levels. And I hope that everything you learn today in this show and that you've learned in the past are things that even if you're not going to come to the event, you can find a way to live it in a different way. Because like I said last week, knowing isn't living. And you do need to take the time and space out of your life in order to process things differently. It will not happen in your patterns and habits and routines. It needs its own designated, conscious, mindful, in your body, present attention in order for you to start to change some of this stuff. So please, I hope, if nothing else this holiday season, you will find and create, not find, take that back, you will create. You will always have to create the time to pay attention to yourself and to give back to yourself. So happy holidays. Remember, 2-pay option ends in 2 days, and enjoy today's show.
And this is super exciting because I have an opportunity tonight to interview someone that I've been wanting to pick her brain for a while. So now I get to pick her brain publicly for you, my friends, on Facebook. So I want to introduce you to a friend and colleague, JJ, as the awesome, amazing, sexy boss, JJ.
Thanks, Heather.
You're welcome.
And thanks for having me, and welcome, everybody.
Super exciting. So I want to kind of set the stage of who JJ is. So who she is an empowerment strategist and the host of several podcast shows, including Fit to Love, Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. She was named Best Personal Trainer in Los Angeles 2007 by Elite Traveler magazine, and JJ has been featured in many national magazines. She's been on NBC, CBS, Fox News, and CW, I mean, so much more. And her newest book, The Invisible Fitness Formula, 5 Secrets to Release Weight and End Body Shame, debuted at number 2 on the Amazon bestseller list for women's health, and number 2 as a hot new release on May 18, 2007. Welcome.
Thank you, Heather.
So first of all, I think it's super amazing that you were #1 trainer in Los Angeles. I kind of have it that Los Angeles, out of all the cities in the United States, is like the most egocentric city. So to be top trainer in LA is pretty hot.
Yeah, it was a shock to me. And it was from Elite Traveler magazine, which is a very high profile, very private luxury magazine. And trust me, it was a shock to me too. So when I saw that, I was like, what does this say? And I have like 10 copies in the other room of the magazine that I still have. So that was fun.
So I have to ask a fun question. Can you share a top, celebrity that you've ever had as a client?
I have signed many an NDA. So I can tell you some things about her. She was one of the original hosts on The Biggest Loser. And what else? And she replaced a very high profile talk show host on a talk show years ago. So anyway, but I did sign an NDA, and I don't work with her anymore, but there have been celebrities that kind of come and go. And quite honestly, there's a lot of celebrities that are a big pain in the butt because of things like that. Like there's this idea that because I'm famous, it should just be a pleasure. In fact, I almost fired one once. I love him and I still love him. But he was doing things that made me realize he wasn't listening to me. And I said, look, and I called him, I said, I love you. I think you're great. But because I know that you did these things that challenge your joints and are going to potentially injure you, it lets me know that you're not listening to me. And I go, and that's okay. You don't have to listen to me. If you don't think I'm smart, if you don't think I know what I'm doing, then maybe I'm not the right trainer for you. No hard feelings. And now he called me back like, no, I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. I'll stop doing that. But it's how it is. And I'm not your person, and I'm a person, and I love you, but either you trust me or you don't. If you don't trust me, that's an issue. So, yeah.
You can probably do that with a lot of clients. I completely get that. So I want to talk about something that's personal, I think, for all people, and women and men, and just everyone, of what weighs us down. And I love the kind of play on language here, because we're not talking about weight.
No, we're not talking about just weight.
Right. We're talking about something really more emotional, perception. And I'm just going to name a few. So you gave me a list. I'm just going to name a couple, and then we're going to kind of maybe go down that road a little bit so people can like relate to that, you know, go, oh, that works for me. Yeah, I completely see how that might weigh me down. So let's start with some basics. So one of them is emotional eating. Okay. Like we got that one, go down that road. I mean, that's one. One is family drama. One is mother issues. All right. I get that one. Fear of becoming your parents, divorce, loss, illness, depression. This is a good one. Empty nest syndrome. Deep sense of lack of self-purpose. Ooh, good one. Hiding behind your kids. So these are a couple. We kind of go on and on. I'm giving you a couple. Can you just kind of talk to that and your experience as a coach, as a trainer, how these things weigh people down?
So when I was thinking about this event and how I wanted to help people on the next level and the book that I just wrote and how that all ties together, you know, one of the things that get in people's way is that they don't realize that a lot of the issues that stand in their way are things that they don't think about on a daily basis. And it's that emotional, inherited emotional DNA. It's the habits and patterns. It's subconscious beliefs. It's the fears that we hold on to that carry around with us that we're not even present with because we don't know how they show up in our daily lives, but they create barriers and blocks to relationships, to success, and definitely to health. A lot of clients that I've worked with over the years who have emotional eating issues or can't seem to release the weight permanently, everybody wants to look at, and this is how I'm different as a trainer, everyone wants to look at, oh, well, what diet are you doing and how much exercise are you doing? And while those are important, I'm not saying they're not important, they're not going to produce lasting change if you don't go to the root of why you do any of it in the first place. It's not what you eat, it's why you eat.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone wants to look at, well, what am I eating? And I got to change what I'm eating. Forget the what right now. What's the why? And what's the why and what's the barrier to really making lasting change? And it comes down to these emotional issues, and they happen, they show up in all parts of our lives, whether it be you get in the same fight that you get in with every boyfriend or girlfriend or partner or husband or wife, or how many times have you been married, or with your business when you come up against something that you sabotage yourself or you get sick every time. And so in terms of helping people in a weight loss, fitness, health kind of way, as well as in a life coaching kind of way. I get a lot of people who called me and become clients based on relationship issues because of who they're attracting and what's showing up and how they see patterns happening and how they understand or are starting to understand based on some of the work I do in the podcast, that's stuff that they have carried with them that is not serving them. And so the question becomes, how do I really release that? How do I get rid of that? How do I overcome that? Because until you do, you're going to stay in the same cycle. That's why every year we have New Year's resolutions, because everybody goes on a diet. And I'm all against the diet mentality, because diet indicates temporary. If I ask you, not to me, if I say, what's your diet? That means, what do you eat? So if you ask me what my diet is, I'll tell you, but most people say, I'm going on a diet. No, I don't want you to go on it. You already have a diet. It's what you eat every day. What I want you to do is change what you eat every day, potentially, to help get you closer to your goals. But that lifestyle change has to be embedded a lot deeper than willpower. And in this season of weight loss, releasing weight, emotional eating, everyone thinks it's willpower. I have to force myself to exercise, to force myself to eat certain things. And when I sort of like get tired, oh, I'm tired of doing this, then I'm going to eat whatever I really want. And what I want to impress upon people is that when you do the deeper work, you get to the place where you want the healthier things. It's not about feeling restricted ever. I am not restricted yet. If you knew what I ate, you'd be like, oh my God, what do you eat? What's left? And I'll tell you, anything that I want, I learn how to make it or have it in the way that is better for me, that still tastes great. I feel not restricted at all. But people say, well, don't you miss this? Not at all. That's where I want to get people to, with both food as well as habits. Be able to rise above the drama, be able to rise above and heal the issues that trigger you, because until you do, you cannot outrun your pain, and you're going to keep bumping up against limitations in your business and your personal life and in your health and in your weight when you aren't willing to look underneath the hood. And let's start changing the engine.
Changing the engine. Absolutely. So part of this conversation we're having tonight is about starting to help people identify what are the things that are holding them back, or what you call, holding them down or weighting them down. Those are just words we're using, right? So in the world of that, we're starting to identify that, and then we're going to discuss how you can actually release that, or how can you alter that, or I hate the words fix, but fix that.
Release.
And then my next thing is, what can we do? What's the result is going to be once those get released, right? So going down the path of some more like father issues, mother issues. This one, by the way, I have to ask, I think is really interesting. You must have a story behind this one. Hiding behind your kids. How is that something weighing a person down? How does that affect them?
So if you have children, let's say you grew up in a very restrictive household, you never really felt like you had a voice, or you didn't feel like you really could do the things you wanted to do because maybe your parents didn't approve of you.
Right.
Well, now you have your children, and a lot of people believe, especially women, maybe not men, that if I birth you, you will always love me, and you will always adore me, and you'll always do what I say, and you'll always be there for me. So that's like the pressure that gets put upon children because of parents' unfulfilled desires and needs that aren't being met by themselves really push children away. And so if you're the person who thought, well, maybe I don't have a partner, so I'm going to have children by myself, or I can't wait to have children. So I've heard this from people. I can't wait to have children so someone will always love me. The pressure that child is going to feel, if they haven't already, at some point, their need for autonomy might be so great that they might love you, but they may not want to see you anymore because the pressure is too big. So hiding behind your kids can show up in ways where you didn't get to fulfill a certain desire or dream of yours. You're going to try to push your kids into it. And you're living your life through them, which isn't fair to them because it's not their life. And again, that's what's going to cause over time a child to pull away from a parent just on a respect issue, because a child's going to inherently know, what are you doing? Like, it's not my job to make you feel better. It's your job to make you feel better. And why are you making me do this thing I don't want to do? Or why are you so attached to my success in this way? So I think if we're really being honest with ourselves and we're saying, who am I outside of being a parent, or who am I outside of being a wife, or who am I outside of being a daughter? You are a person who's got gifts and skills and talents and a purpose. And it doesn't have to be a defined purpose today that my whole life's about this one purpose. It could be from year to year, your purpose could change. You could find a new purpose. But the point is, you as an individual have a path, you have a journey, and you were here to fulfill that. And along the way, you also have relationships, but you are not just a mother. And your purpose wasn't to be just a mother. It might have been to be a mother to your children and to grow to be to your children. But there's something bigger than just your one child or your two children or your six children. And I think when we aren't honest with that, what we come up against is very needy parents, very controlling parents, and children that do drugs and become numb because they don't want to deal with their parents, the intense emotions and pressure they feel from their parents.
Right. Oh my God, that's a pretty deep one. That's pretty deep. I can relate to that on many levels. I think we all can, either having with a parent ourselves like that, or something we maybe projected onto kids and whatnot. Relationships in general. So another one that I thought was really interesting, of course, is one's retirement, stress reduction, divorce. We knew this one very well, but fear of becoming your parents. I mean, how does that weigh one down? How does that weigh a person down? And then I'm going to move into like, how can someone, now that we've kind of talked about the pain here, how can someone actually shift this?
So some people want to overcompensate by they watch themselves closely and think about their parent and what their parent did or didn't do, and they do the exact opposite. But what they don't realize is that sometimes, even though you may be in the action doing something different than your parents did, you still have their energy. So there's something about that scarcity or fear-based energy or overwhelm or anxiety. There's something you're still carrying forward, even though I'm going to talk about addiction energy for a second, because we all have addictions. And that's one of the secrets in my book and in this process. And I know for a lot of you, if you don't do drugs, or you don't drink too much, or you don't identify yourself as being an addict, because that's mostly when we think of smokers or alcoholics or someone that has a substance abuse. But we all have addictions, and one of the most popular addictions is food. And the second most popular addiction is control. And if we're thinking about like what stops you from feeling, what stops you from moving forward, you can stop a behavior. A lot of people do. In fact, a lot of people stop smoking and start eating. And then people want to say, oh, it's an oral fixation. No, it's not an oral fixation. It's not an oral fixation. It's because their addiction energy is still in your body. And just quitting the habit did not, because what happens is we do these things to push down our feelings and our emotions that want to come up and be expressed or processed or utilized in some way. They're information, but we're like, no, I can't feel that. It's too uncomfortable. So I'm either going to smoke to push it down, I'm going to drink to push it down, I'm going to eat to push it down, but they're all pushing it down. So giving up the habit, like I have a client that I've told him, because he said from the beginning, I want to stop smoking. He was an alcoholic. He's in AA. And he said, I want to stop smoking next. I said, well, don't do it until you're really ready to deal with the feelings underneath, because you still have a crutch of numbing. And until you're ready to be fully present, and it's going to be painful at first until you figure out what it is, keep smoking, don't stop, because you're just going to take on some new numbing way. So the fear of becoming your parents is this idea that it's that disassociation with the parents, that there was something really, really wrong. And maybe there was, but this isn't coming from a place of healing and compassion. It's coming from a fear-based place, where then you're going to take that same energy, which is in you. You can't run from it. It's in you. And you're going to use different actions, but you're still going to put the same energy either on your children or live it out in your life. So to me, true healing is when you're different in the same situation. When you aren't triggered anymore, when you can look at something that used to bother you with compassion, when you can be with people that used to trigger you with compassion, when you can stand centered and calm in your power, feel satisfied and be an observer and not get triggered by all the same things that used to trigger you. When you have that kind of healing, now you can make conscious choices. But when you're in constant fight or flight mode because you've been triggered emotionally, or because you're trying to run from this or run from that, or stuff the emotions down, or, oh my God, I can't feel this, it's so uncomfortable, then you're going to stay in this pattern. So, people that have anxiety is actually not even a feeling. Anxiety is a sensation. Anxiety is a sensation that something wants to come through. There is something needing to be expressed or processed that it's causing like an overload in your system. So again, that's what anxiety, people want to just numb it, smoke it away, put drugs in, because, oh my God, right? So, but anxiety really isn't a feeling. You can consider it worry, but anxiety is a sensation. And so, but people will be very quick to say, well, I have anxiety. We have anxiety for a reason. There's something going on that needs to be figured out and worked out. Some kind of new level that you're being asked to grow to. And if you keep wanting to stay the same, we're constantly evolving and expanding. And if you try to slow down that boulder down the hill, you're going to get crushed. But in the case of our emotions, we just keep numbing. And then we don't sleep, and then we've got pain in our bodies and disease and
and they wonder why they're overweight.
Right. And for a lot of people, some of the symptoms are that you're an emotional eater and you can't release the weight. You've tried weight loss programs, but the reason why it's not sticking is because you're not looking under the hood. You're still just dealing with the top level stuff. Trust me, that's not where it's at. When you deal with the bottom level stuff, you heal some of that. And then guess what? You don't have a need to emotionally eat because you're comfortable. You figure out what your needs are. You know how to get them met. There's a deeper calm and mindfulness and consciousness and peace that you want so badly, but you're not going to get there by trying to control what you eat and log your exercise.
Right. And log your exercise. So there's a couple things that I heard you say, and definitely it was an earlier talking about what's your diet versus I'm going on a diet. Like there's that. Some friends of mine right now are going on the keto diet, so, and they're going on of it and off it and whatever they're doing. So I think it's interesting. And specifically the people that I know they're doing that, I've known them for 15 years or 10 years, and they've gone up and down in weight, because mainly they're not dealing with the other issues that are weighing them down. And a lot of those are emotional. And the people I'm talking about are men. They probably, for whatever reason, they don't want to deal with like what's underneath all of that. Right. And I just have this saying over the years of my life, I've kind of taken on as much as I possibly can, a minimalistic view of furniture and stuff. So I'm constantly releasing and letting go. And I have a saying, every time that I throw something away or give it away or release it out of my house, I lose weight. It's just like something I do. And it's true though. I mean, there's so many times and if I have something, I'll look at it, I'll say, does this spark joy or something? No or yes. And I'm like, I release it back. And I also just release energy off my body. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but it works. Like it just works,
Yeah, not at all. It doesn't sound cheesy at all.
So, and I had this, part of that is like, I have, when there's what I call equipment or, a blender, whatever the thing is, if it's not working, like it's broken, I get rid of it. I get it out of my space. I know it's a representation we're talking about because it's like a equipment, but it's the same thing inside. Like if something's not working, you got to get to it so you can let it go. Because if not, it's just kind of killing the energy, and nothing bad about having a blender sitting there, it can't work. Like, what's the point? Just sucking up energy, you know? So I think that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. And it always, it helps the health. You know, it always comes back to health and well-being, and weight is part of well-being. So I think if I was like summing up a little bit what JJ's saying to everybody is like, there's all these things that weigh us down. And then like that, once we figure that out and release those, our wellness in life, our vitality can go up. So let's talk a little bit about how to get through, overcome, and process. And right before you get into that, I kind of want to let everyone know why we're here tonight. And why we're here tonight is JJ is having an event in LA. And this event is amazing. But the event is in January, perfect timing. And it's all about releasing and letting go and having health and well-being and vitality. And it's in LA, guys, it's LA. So like, it's great. So JJ, let's talk about how can people overcome? How can they do this? What's the process?
Well, when it comes to, there's going to be mind, body, and soul exercises, okay? For some people, one of the things that sabotages them is their inability to focus. And I don't mean focus like on something else, but to focus like within. I see a lot of people, again, we'll talk about the anxiety conversation, where people are constantly moving. They can't keep eye contact with you for a long period of time. They look away, they're flittering because their brain's moving, right? They can't sit still. They laugh to defer, like, you know, they're always laughing because they're uncomfortable and they can't just be. So there's going to be practices of Zen meditations and using NLP to get into your body and to connect your body. Part of it is that we're not even connected to our bodies. And people are like, what do you mean I'm not connected to my body? Trust me, you're not connected to your body. Most of us are connected like from here up, right? Because your body's always giving you signs and symptoms and messages. So there's going to be things in a mind, in a spirituality kind of way. So there's going to be meditative practices to get you connected to your muscles, to get you connected to all parts of you so that you can feel and understand what's going on at a new level. Because trust me, I promise, your body's trying to tell you something and you keep ignoring it. So that's part of it. Then there's the body stuff, the exercise, the food stuff. So we're going to talk about chakras and how food can actually heal different chakras in your body that are blocked with some of these emotions. So how we eat and how that helps us. And when it comes to the emotional piece, I got a lot of fun stuff. So for couples, I'm actually going to start deeming this partly a couples workshop. There aren't a lot of couples signed up yet, but there will be by the end of the week, because I've got a lot of clients who are couples or clients whose significant other, they're having issues. And what I want to impress upon people about this event in particular, it's a workshop, it's not a lecture, which means you're going to be doing a lot of work. You're going to be literally active, doing something every day, all day long. It doesn't mean you're not going to listen and absorb a concept, but it's not where you get to check out and check your phone. In fact, I probably might even take a phone privilege away and say no phones until the breaks, because I don't want you disconnected. I don't want electromagnetic frequencies fighting for your attention and your energy. I want you actually to sit still. And if that means an emotion comes up that needs to be expressed, let it out. It's the reason why you keep overeating is because you don't want to feel uncomfortable. So this is going to be a very safe container of people who are on the same path as you, dealing with some of the same issues. So when it comes to emotions, I got some great tools. Some of the tools come from nonviolent communication. A couple other tools I'm going to be using, like communication. We're going to look at some forgiveness work, and we're going to take these things and we're going to go within and figure out what's blocking you. We're going to see if you act as a victim or a rescuer or a persecutor. We're going to figure out on the victim triangle what your starting gate position is and how you interact with others. And what are you trying to get in your life that you don't even know about? I did an exercise not too long ago in Imago therapy where it was, and trust me, I've done so much work that when something sticks out as a game changer for me, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to share this with other people. Because if I'm unaware of it, holy crap, people are unaware of it. But it was one of those, like I got to the end of the exercise and I was like, oh my God, this makes sense of why
oh my God, what is it? Because it sounds awesome.
It's an imago therapy exercise, and it's about childhood. Anyway, I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Okay. It's going to be at the event. It's going to be at the event.
It's a process we're going to do at the event. And when I did it, I wondered, why isn't everybody doing this exercise just by themselves? Every person alive would be getting benefit from doing this exercise. It would literally explain your dramas in your life. It would explain why you've attracted the friends and relationships that have ended and why they ended and what you wanted for them and what your patterns are. Anyway, and some powerful stuff. We're gonna dive a little deeper. And here's what I want to say about, because I've got clients who have listened to me for 9 years, and a couple that is coming to the event. And she said to me, and she's a former therapist, she's like, you're wonderful, and I'm having resistance because I just wonder, she's like, I know, is it really going to be something new that you haven't already said? And she said it as I was walking out the door, and I thought about it, and it was a great thing to say to me, because I realized the diagnosing of the problem is different than the treatment of the problem, right?
Yeah.
Someone telling you have cancer, oh, okay, great, yeah. Just knowing I have cancer means that's going to fix it. That's just going to fix it right away. No, that's not how it works. So first we have to uncover what it is.
Right.
And how many times in your daily life do you take time out to uncover why you behave the way you behave and why you feel the way you feel? Never. Maybe once in a while, maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks if you go to therapy. But really, when do you create time and space to work on you? Because let me tell you, working on you is an investment in your business and in your relationship. Forget if you think, oh, I don't have any weight issues. Okay, you don't need to have any weight issues. Maybe you have a relationship in your relationship, or maybe you're not really that happy, or maybe your business doesn't feel so good to you. When do you take that time out to really give space to uncovering? And then the next step is processing, letting it go, figuring it out, problem solving it, understanding it on a different level. Mm-hmm. So this is what we're going to be doing at the event, and it's going to be super fun, because what I'm giving you is your power back, and what you're going to find is your power back. For all the people that feel like trapped in their marriage, trapped in their business, trapped in their relationship, trapped by their circumstances, you feel like a victim, I promise you will feel empowered to know exactly what that is and how to let it go, and why it's been holding you down.
I love that. Take my power back. Okay. So if you're just turning in, I just want to say what we're talking about here. We're talking about this amazing event, and I'm going to actually ask you about who's going to be there. But this event is in January, at the beginning of the year, the best time to talk about your health and well-being and your entire vitality for the future of 2018. The timing's amazing. It is in beautiful LA with some amazing speakers. And it's a workshop. You're going to be doing work. It's not passive. It is working on your life. 3 days. It's in January. Here's a gift, because JJ's amazing. She's gifting you 15% off the live ticket version. Okay. She does have a virtual version. If you're like, I can't get to LA for whatever reason, I say go to LA. But she does have a virtual ticket purchase price, but the 15% off, and here's the code. Ready? Write this down. 15 off. There it is.
All capitals. All capitals.
All caps. 15 OFF. All caps. 15% off of the live version in LA. And she wants you there, and it's limited. She's got a room. It's X big. And as soon as it gets hits, she's like closing it. It's not one of these things like, oh, we'll just get a bigger room. No. It's a workshop. You're working on your life. It's in January, the beginning of the year, 2018. Make 2018 the best year ever, and really create from a place of wellness and vitality. So who's going to be there?
So first we've got Jeannie Peters. She's registered dietitian and the nutrition director of the Nourishing Wellness Medical Center. Cool. And she's a dear friend and the #1 interviewed person on my podcast, both video and audio. And Jeannie's going to be presenting about chakras. She's going to talk about the energy of food and how the energy of food can heal the energy in your body. Now, Jeannie is an expert in many areas, including hormones and just diet in general. So if you want to know about keto, you want to know about paleo, you want to know about whatever, Jeannie can help you. Foods for any kind of diseases. She is amazing when it comes to nutrition, and she's like an earth mama. Jeannie's hands are always dirty because her hands are in the dirt. She's always growing things and working with herbs, and she's the most natural, down to earth, big-hearted person. And if you want to know anything about Jeannie, you can go to nourishingwellness.com. You can check her out on my podcast. She's been on 1 million times, and she's a wealth of knowledge, and she's a love. She's just a big, heart-open, love. And anyway, so but Jeannie, you'll love what she gives to you, and you'll want more from her, I promise. Next, we've got Lisa Thomas, and Lisa Thomas is a energy worker, energy healer, and she helps to clear inherited emotional DNA. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, maybe you understand, or you can like get that concept. But like I said, when we're talking about the parents, you have energy that's been passed down for you through generations, not just your parents, but before your parents. I've been to Lisa privately a few times, and I know people, and Jeannie's been to her, and I send many clients to Lisa. And one of the things that usually comes up is people are amazed that it goes back like 6 or 9 generations where something like scarcity is in your energy stream. Now, Lisa she's a healer, and how she does it, she can honestly tell you she doesn't know. I mean, in terms of how she can do what she does. And I've had her on my podcast twice to explain her story and how she can help people and what she does. But Lisa is amazing. I will tell you that when I went to see her, and you can have sessions with her actually virtually on Skype as well as live. And Lisa's doing something at my event that she doesn't do. She's doing a miniature live healing in the room. So she's going to take the collective energy of who's in the room. After we've done some of this processing, we're going to pick out the top things, and she's going to clear the room of these energies. And let me tell you, Lisa's not cheap, and she has like a 2-month waiting list because she's amazing. So you're going to get a taste of something that otherwise would cost you about the same price of the whole ticket to have a session. And there's going to be a momentum that's created in the event of you releasing as we go. So imagine the readiness of your energy system by the time we get to the clearing that Lisa's going to do. So she's going to explain inherited emotional DNA. And this is like top level stuff. Like she describes it like if you're in the Peanuts, is it Linus that's got the dust cloud? Well, she's clearing the dust cloud, okay? And she's clearing the stuff that you can't consciously do, that you need some help. And people are so transformed. I took my parents to see her, and one of the clients came up from Orange County and said, "How do you know her?" And she said, "Well, I'm only meeting her today for the first time. I've worked with her once on the phone, but my friend who I knew for a long time, but I started like not to like anymore, came back and was a different person after working with Lisa." She's like, "I liked her. She was different." So there is very palpable changes in people when you can release some of this unwanted energy. So that's Lisa, and she's amazing. We have Michael Neely. Michael Neely is going to be at the event. He's another fellow podcaster, and Michael's going to be doing all the Zen meditation, NLP kind of work to help us reprogram. And he's got a presentation called 10 Steps to Zen, like instantaneous things that you can do energetically to get yourself into calm, which who can't use that, right? So we're going to be doing meditations and NLP work with Michael. And then we've got Allison Melody. Allison is the host of the Food Heals podcast. And Allison's also going to be dealing with food and energy and a little bit of that kind of emotional energy and some meditations and sort of her life story and how food and disease transformed her life and what she's learned and how she's overcome that and what she does now to help others. So it's kind of going to marry that inspiration and the education, because she's got a lot of education from all of her guests as well. So Allison's going to be at the event. And of course, there's me. And I'm going to be bringing the exercise piece. I'm going to actually deal with astrology. And you might be thinking, why would you deal with astrology? Well, for those of you that don't understand astrology, we've got 4 main elements in astrology: fire, water, earth, and air. And when you understand what your energy is made of astrologically, you start to make sense of and get validated in things that, oh, that's just because I'm this and I'm that, or because I have an Aries Venus. Oh my God, it makes so much sense now. Instead of what we do to ourselves is we put the pressure on us of being weird, or I'm broken, or there's something wrong with me. Why do I act this way? But when you understand some of these other energies that play into your habits and patterns, like astrology, you're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And then ding, 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 you get to figure out ways to work with it so that you're not bumping up against it and trying to change something that you inherently are. And that's so powerful as someone who's a Pisces with a lot of Sag, like super sensitive or used to be, and used to get like, feel a trigger. And I've totally healed that because I worked with it. And I no longer get that punch in the gut. I don't feel offended. I don't get my feelings hurt anymore because I worked with the energies of who I am and how to transform that in combination with some of these other practices. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be talking about astrology. And of course, we're going to do the nonviolent communication work, the imago work. I got a lot of fun tools and some forgiveness work. Because sometimes people don't even realize that they're beating themselves up and shaming themselves because they can't forgive themselves for something they did or something their parents told them they did. And you're just been carrying that for years. And if you can understand that, oh my God, I've been torturing myself, and you can let that go, and then you're free. You're free to like move on from that because it doesn't serve you.
You know what I love about this event, for instance, it's January 12th and 14th. I love this event because there's so many different modalities coming into play. We have a spiritual, we have an astrology, we have a body, we have a chakras, we have nutrition. Like there's so many different things that affect us every day. It's not just food. It's not just spiritual. It's not just our past. It's everything that's constantly affecting everything we do with our relationships, with our personal finances, with our health and well-being. There's all these pieces that affect us, and they're kind of what I call, some of them are intangible. It's not like there's parts that are, but a lot of it is intangible conversations and intangible things about tapping into our chakras and understanding that and how the food actually affects that. I mean, that's really revolutionary. And then going to another level with the healing. I mean, you really are tapping into all these modalities. I've never seen that before. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on and encourage people who get what we're talking about, who understand that they're ready to have a huge transformation on all areas of their life, not just health, not just spiritual, not just money, not just relationships. It's like a whole encompassing of, and it's such great timing. January 12th, 13th, and 14th. She does have an option for guys who are virtual. So that's hugely an option, but go, that's, just go. That's what I would say. Okay. So now we've started to discover what are things that weigh us down, that can cause issues in our spiritual and our vitality and our health and well-being. We've discussed how are some different modalities that you're going to be bringing and discussing, and then all the different speakers that are bringing their own expertise, right? This is kind of covering this whole basis. So now the next piece of all this, I think that people are asking is, this sounds awesome, but what am I going to get? What's the result? Because it sounds like there's a ton of work. And a ton of, when I say work, by the way, I mean, it's going to be work on ourselves. It doesn't feel like work to me. That's just more about releasing. But they might be asking, okay, I come for 2-3 days. Here's the price plus airfare. What's the result that you can say that people are going to get out of this extraordinary event?
Well, first of all, you're going to get clarity. You're going to get huge clarity on why you keep getting tripped up in different parts of your life. You're going to get tools to deal with the triggers when they come up, tools that will help you come back down to neutral, diffuse that trigger, because a trigger is just, it's a call to action for this response that you're having. And while there are more traumatic triggers out there, there's PTSD and things like that, you're going to learn tools and how to, in the 10 steps to Zen, come down from the trigger so that you can actually process in an observer state and get your needs met. So you're going to understand that process, which is going to give you clarity. It's going to give you freedom, because you're not going to feel a victim to other people anymore. You're not going to feel like you're trying to you're so uncomfortable that you don't know what to do, because you're going to know what to do. You're going to feel calm and peace and a knowing that here's the path laid out for you. What I think is really unique and why I want to do this event and why I'm doing it in January and what I'm all about, and I've always been all about. If I used to joke and say, well, if I was that kind of person that just cared about the money, I would have invented a stupid ab roller 20 years ago and been sitting on a beach after I sold millions of dollars. But what I know about people is that I'm going to sell you a piece of equipment you're never going to use. I'm really invested in you actually doing the work, which is why with my book, and you were talking about how I wanted to show people, see that mind, body, soul logo. See, that's what's missing. That's why every year you do the same yo-yo dieting and exercise program. It's why every year you repeat patterns that get you only so far and you come up against the wall, because you're not, again, connecting the dots of integration. And without integration, you're not going to have lasting success. That's just it. And because you have to be changing. You really want to be shedding layers of protection that you've had for so many years that you don't need anymore. It's really empowering. You're going to feel empowered. You're going to feel a new sense of between vitality and peace and calm, a new sense of energy and purpose, and understanding this and this trust in what it is that all these tools that you have now that you can use at any time. Because there's some truths that maybe haven't been so clear, but once you do this process, all the processes, these truths are going to become very clear to you. And so you're not going to be afraid of the trigger. You're going to be afraid of the trauma. You're not going to be afraid of the confrontation or when something's coming up. You're going to be afraid of the emotion that you're now starting to identify in your body. And instead of running to eat that thing or grab your technology or zone out or lit up that cigarette or drink that drink or whatever, have pot, whatever you're doing, you're going to say, whoa, maybe I don't need that. Now, if you want it, that's a different story. I'm not saying that we need to get rid of all these habits. If there's something you enjoy, you don't want to give up. It's the fact that habit doesn't control you. So you're going to gain your control back. And so you're not giving up your power to these substances and these behaviors that are ruling your life.
And I think that was interesting. The beginning of this call, the beginning of this Facebook Live, we talked about that everyone has some kind of level of an addiction. It just depends on like where we're placing that addiction. And I think it's an interesting, and when we have that, it's just kind of pushing down all these emotions. So part of this workshop is kind of like uncovering all that and then giving you the tools and the strategies on how to deal with all these emotions that may or not come up in different modalities, in meditation, food, chakras, astrology, understanding, processing. There's just like all these modalities. What I hear is you'll be coming away with this huge toolbox to like understand how to actually, pick up the tool you need at the time in your life when things come at you, how to deal with that stress in such a way that's more powerful. Like you said, what I want to do with this event is give your power back. You want to give your people's power back with this event. And part of that is the workshop process and then giving you all these different tools that you're not taught in school, tools that you might not be taught at home. Most likely you're not. So tools that are outside of conventional conversation, true tools that take you to another level of vitality and wellness. And that is truly, honestly, I've been in the event business since 2001. What is that, 16, 17 years, a long time. And I've produced and been to hours of 450 events. Each event is 3 days. So do that math. And I've been to a lot of events. I'm an event snob. And so what I mean by an event snob is it's got to be really damn good for me to even think about it. It's got to be like really good, and this is really good. Like, this is a once in a lifetime thing. I've never seen this in my 16 years of doing events. It's truly awesome.
Thank you. And that's really what I want people to understand that, because they think, oh, it's just another event or I'm going to be talked to. And it's not. This is why, one of the reasons why I chose this space and limited the room so that we could actually have a really safe container for you to do work. Because here's the reason why you don't get results with all these programs that you're doing is because you keep just repeating the same patterns. And you don't give yourself the time and the space to identify, process, and release just if you go to therapy often, if you got a coach, maybe you do it once a week for an hour. But as I'm sure that in a therapy session or coaching session, you hit upon a trigger at minute 45 and you got 5 minutes left before you have to leave.
Right. You're like, figure it out, process it out.
You start to get down into a deeper place and all of a sudden now you have to leave. You're with us. It's not a full 3 days. The event's going to start around 3 or 4 o'clock on Friday and go to about 2 o'clock on Sunday. All right. So we have a good amount of time, but it's enough time to build momentum and a momentum of depth. And you asked me, Heather, about what people are going to get from this event. And I gave you some feelings, but now let me give you another level. All right. So if you want to lose weight, you'll have the tools to be able to lose weight. You know why? Because now if you can conquer emotional eating and you release that need for that addiction because you're processing your emotions and you're not starting to stuff them down, guess what? You're not going to emotionally eat. You're going to learn about inflammatory foods, eating anti-inflammatory foods. You're going to decrease your cravings. If you're in relationship and you get triggered by every little thing, you're going to understand that and understand how to heal that, so that way you can be calm and present and not take things personally and not go in screaming matches with people, because you can understand how to shift your energy. So you can improve your relationships, you're going to improve your health, you can lose weight, you're going to have more energy, and you're going to have your power back. And I know for some people that doesn't mean anything. For some of you though, it's going to be pretty huge.
Oh. The other thing that I want to tap into that I think is a result or something that people aren't thinking about. Like I said, I've been in the business for 16 years, and every single one of my dearest friends, minus like one, I've met at events like this. I've met at events. The kind of people, the quality of the human beings you meet at most events are awesome. But the kind of quality of people that you're going to meet at this event is awesome. And I'm all about that right now. That's why I'm an event snob. It's like, I'm very protective of who I talk to and communicate and give my energy to, and whose energy do I take, and who do I surround myself. I'm very aware of that, and so this is an event that I want to go to, not only for myself and to meet some amazing people and healers that I probably would never have access to in LA, right? Just never have the inclination to be able to connect all those people together, but also the people in the room, like who's there, who else is a person that's like so up to wellness and vitality in their life that they're willing to spend 3 days of their world in this event. Like, that's the kind of person that I want to meet and connect with and be friends with. So it's not just about the result you get. It's more about the community you tap into and the people that you draw towards yourself. That's a whole nother level of vitality. It will change how you think, and you'll come back to your world and you'll go, whoa, that relationship doesn't work for me anymore. I'm at a different level. As Carolyn Mize says, the level is just like another floor in a building. It's not that you are better than people. It's just another floor. And when you move up in a level, you see things differently from a different view.
Right. And actually, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because another reason why I decided to do this event is because I've got a pretty strong podcast following on several of my channels, but on one in particular. And that particular show, Spirit, Purpose, and Energy, people were talking about this kind of stuff. And again, and we're in this digital world where I'm so glad to have people who listen to my show and listen to your show, and we can do this, and we can connect with people on video and live on Facebook, and it's awesome. And then what happens when we move away from the computer? We take the earbuds out of our ears, right? Yeah. So we feel this sort of loneliness. It's like, why are we addicted to our technology? Because we see it as, this is my connection. And I want people to understand and feel a community. And you have a community. You haven't met them yet. So I'm creating this event because I want these people to create a live community where, yes, maybe you're not going to see each other, but once a year. Or if I hopefully do this event again. See, I don't even know if I'm going to do it again. I would like to do it again potentially, but we'll see how it goes. So please, if you're interested, come to the event, because I'm not sure if I'm doing it again.
Yeah, but that's something. Yeah. So just be clear. This is the first event she's done like this. And what I mean, the reason I'm saying that is because this is the first time these kinds of people have come together, and the potential of them coming together again, we're not sure yet, and so I would say just for that alone, it really is truly a one-time event. It's not like, well, next year we'll do the same thing. No, we don't know. We don't know. This is just a once-time thing, Yeah. So it's like that. You just have to really get that too.
So the community, I've heard feedback from people who listen to my podcast. Oh my God, I'm so glad I found your show. I feel like such an ugly duckling, like a black sheep, because people are like, who I'm around, they don't talk like this, and I'm interested in these things, but nobody else is interested in these things. Okay, everybody, I'm bringing all together the people who are interested in these things. Come meet your tribe. Come get to know them. Make a connection. And then we're going to keep ourselves together, at least virtually, but there'll be a stronger personal connection. And it's going to fulfill and enrich your life on levels that you're yearning for. I know you're yearning for it, because we all are. That's why half of us are addicted to our technology, because we're looking for that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm coming for that. I'm more like, okay, all these people, my people.
Yeah,
My people, what's up, my tribe? Because in everyday life, you don't walk around going, hey, you want to talk about like health and well-being and chakras? It's like attracts like. Start your world off right. Start your 2018 off right. This event is once in a lifetime. This might happen again, might not. I don't know. But like, even if she does the event next year, it's not going to be the same people. It's not going to be the same speakers. It's just not. It might be something different. I don't know. But this is a once-time deal. It's just like, that's it. Now she does have an option for a virtual. Again, she has a limited room and she's not going to get a bigger one. It's like, that's it. Right?
And what's included in the ticket price is all the food. So every meal,
Really?
every drink. Yes. Because it's a very specific, I know I didn't mention that, but it's a very specific.
No, that's great.
It's going to be mostly paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free with some vegan options. So no, you're going to release inflammation just by the food that I'm going to feed you. And I promise you will enjoy it because of many different choices. So you'll find something that tastes good and you'll get to try what it's like to eat. Possibly it's a little bit different from you. And if you have dietary restrictions, I will be able to fulfill those dietary restrictions. So the food is included. And again, that experience and that tribe, there's nothing that can beat that. And while the virtual ticket will be good and you can do the exercises on your own, it's not live streaming. So you're not going to be, I'm asking you to sit at your computer for 3 days. You're going to get it in a downloadable form in another program the following week. And then you can do the exercises and do the sequential order that we do, but you're not going to get that personalized experience. You're not going to get any feedback. You're not going to get the extra coaching that comes along with it and that extra push and help. And you're not going to get the experience of the energy of the room. And you're not going to get Lisa's direct healing, which is going to be really powerful in person, as well as, of course, all the other things, the meditations, the exercise, the food, the fun, and then, of course, doing the exercises with us. There's an energy that happens in that room of whether you want to call it masterminding or you want to call it collective energy, but there's like a transformative, energetic, safe container that gets created. So definitely if you're interested at all, and even if you think you're on the fence about coming, buy a virtual ticket. You can upgrade it if there's room. I'll let you know, because as I continue promoting and as we get to the end of the year, people are going to freak out. So it's going to fill up, but at least if you get the virtual ticket, you won't lose out, and then you can upgrade if you want to. But I definitely want you to take the seat in the room first.
Let's do that. So I want to speak to why I think events are so amazing. This comes again after, producing so many events, 450 plus. I just lost count of that. I kind of stopped counting at that point. Like, what's the point? And then 16 years of this. So here's how I tell my clients, there's 3 levels of products. Okay. And the first one is do it yourself. Do it yourself as a book, or you buy a program, or, it's like, go for it. Like, have fun. It's always the lowest price point, right? And then the next level is the done with you. And this is a done with you program. Like, this is where you go in, you're going to learn, and they're going to do it with you in the moment, your peers, your new friends, the speakers. It's a done with you program. It's not a do it yourself, like passive, like I'll do that when I get home. No, it's a done with you. And then the third level in the product world is the done for you. And the challenge with spiritual and vitality and wellness and health and well-being, you got to do it. There is no done for you. You got to do it or forget about it, right? So that one's off the table. Okay. So it's done with you, which is honestly the most powerful type of teaching and learning you can do. That's why there's trainers. That's why there's coaches. That's why there's mentors. It's because it's done with you, not for you. You can't outsource your health and well-being. You got to go in yourself. But maybe you never done that. Maybe you've never been taught that. It's done with you program, right? So that's why the beauty of events, because a lot of people nowadays, people are like, why should I go to an event? Yes, community. Yes, meeting great people. Yes, the totality, the collective souls together. But there's also understanding how to integrate the work and getting that done with you program. Guys, there's really no reason not to go. I can't really think of a one, so, it's in LA. What? It's not that, LA's great. So, you can't even say it's bad because it's just amazing. So I want to ask you, what area, town, you don't have to get the hotel, but people might be asking, is it at a hotel, stuff like that?
No, it's at a hotel. And there's a special rate at the hotel. And if you want to roommate, let's say I've got a client of mine who said to me, if you have somebody who I can roommate with, like another single lady, which I've already hooked them up and now that's done. But I'm happy to hook people up for roommates if they want to share a cost. But you could also do an Airbnb. I've got connections of different Airbnbs around town. Maybe you have some relatives or friends. Maybe you got frequent flyer miles. So it's at a hotel and it's right south of LAX. So literally, yeah, you can, I think, I'm pretty sure there's a shuttle to the hotel, although I should double check on that. But if it's not, it's less than a $10.
Okay, great. So we're
Uber
not.
ride. Yeah, it's super close. It's 10 minutes from LAX.
Good. So I'm going to give you another thing. So it's something, again, about my experience in events. It's all about the community and it's not about the hotel. And let me explain to you what I'm talking about. And this is not dissing some of the people that do these events. When they do the event and it has to be in this gorgeous setting, you know what I mean? Which is fine. Sometimes it works. I never liked that because there's nothing worse than being at a resort and you're in a room and you're like in four walls and you're like, oh my God, look at that pool out there. You know, look at that gorgeous pool. You know, I'd rather be in a nice, decent hotel without this gorgeous running waterfall pool outside with the golf course, you know, drawing me out there. I'd rather just be in the space and working on what I need to work on, being in the community. And so that's why I asked, because that's the worst thing when you're like, it's a 5-star hotel. I'm like, oh my God. So you did perfectly.
Actually, I did it by feeling. When I went hotel shopping, I literally like would walk in and it was about how I felt and what I wanted to feel. And it's cozy, it's comfortable, it's safe, it's tucked away, it's almost hidden. It's not, anyway, it feels safe and warming and inviting and nurturing. It just feels right. And to me, that's what's more important, is about how you feel.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's great. So I'm going to wrap it up for everyone. But I want to just really invite you to really consider and share this video with your friend or girlfriends or whomever to say, you know what, you want to go with me? Because this event, spouses, partners, friends, share it with people and say, hey, do you want to go with me to this? Because this event looks really awesome. And I really want to go. You want to go with me? Like, just ask your friends to go with you. Perfect time to start your new year, everything, whatever you want to create. Perfect timing. Okay. All the fixings will be done with holidays. You won't even think about it. All of a sudden January will be here and you're like, oh my God, I got this great event to work my way through everything to just really create the new year. And she does have a virtual event as well. If you want to do that, if you can do that, it's great. I get it. I mean, I want you to do it. If you can't go to LA, I get it. Right. And I want to invite you to go to LA. So JJ, thank you for this. Thank you for this gift you're giving to me and the world and everyone listening tonight. And then finally, you know, what do you want to say and invite people to your event?
So as I was saying earlier about the client that said maybe it's something that, you know, you're going to really say anything new that I haven't heard before. It's not about what you know. It's about what you do. And it's about giving yourself the time and space to do something different. When you keep your habits and patterns, you keep your habits and patterns. And you can't expect, what's that, Zig Ziglar? Is it Zig Ziglar? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So this is about doing something new and different and about giving yourself the space. It's time to invest in you and invest in you in a new way, especially if you've done things in the past that haven't lasted, because I promise you will get clarity. I promise you will walk away with at least one breakthrough aha, if not more, because it's going to be chock full of it. So I hope you want to invest in you in 2018.
I'm going to be there. I want to see you there. At least come there to give me a hug or something, right? Come and go give JJ a hug, something. All right, everyone, this is Heather Havenwood and saying goodbye from Facebook. And thank you so much for everything. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Heather. Bye, guys.